Welcome back to Recap Vault. Today, I will show you a 2019 comedy drama film titled Jojo Rabit. Spoilers ahead, so proceed with caution and enjoy. In the fictional town of Falkenheim, as Nazi Germany is on the brink of defeat, we meet 10-year-old Jojo Betzler. He's an ardent nationalist with big dreams of serving his country, despite being unable to tie his own shoes. Jojo's imaginary friend, a flamboyant version of Adolf Hitler, serves as his misguided mentor. Determined to prove his loyalty, Jojo enthusiastically joins the Jungvolk, the junior division of the Hitler Youth, alongside his best friend Yorkie. Their weekend camp is led by the disillusioned Captain Klenzendorf, his eccentric assistant Freddie Finkel, and the strict Fräulein Rahm, who oversees the girls' activities. While the boys engage in wartime drills like grenade throwing, trench digging, and gas defense training, the girls are instructed in homemaking skills such as wound care and preparing for motherhood. Jojo excels at tasks like burning books and parroting anti-Semitic propaganda, but falters in physical activities. When the older boys pressure him to kill a rabbit to prove his courage, Jojo freezes and tries to set the animal free. The older boys mock him mercilessly, nicknaming him Jojo Rabit. Overwhelmed with shame, Jojo retreats to the woods, where his imaginary friend Hitler encourages him to see the rabbit as a symbol of bravery, inspiring him to reclaim his confidence. Eager to prove himself, Jojo rushes back to camp, grabs a live grenade, and attempts to show off. Unfortunately, he fumbles the throw, causing the grenade to bounce back and explode near him. Jojo is left scarred and limping, waking up days later at home after being treated in the hospital. His loving yet pragmatic mother, Rosie, reassures him, reminding him that even with his father missing and his sister Inge deceased, he still has her support. Rosie insists Jojo return to Jungvolk headquarters, where Klenzendorf, now demoted due to negligence, assigns Jojo minor tasks like distributing propaganda posters. While carrying out his duties, Jojo notices his mother staring somberly at a group of people hanged in the town square. When he asks why they were punished, Rosie cryptically replies, "They did what they could." One day at home, Jojo hears strange noises coming from his late sister's bedroom. Investigating the sound, he discovers a hidden compartment in the wall. To his shock, it's occupied by a young Jewish girl named Elsa Kor. Rosie, in an act of defiance against the Nazi regime, has been secretly sheltering Elsa. Terrified but unable to reveal her presence without endangering his mother, Jojo confronts Elsa. She warns him that if he exposes her, she'll claim he and Rosie helped her, sealing their fates. Conflicted, Jojo consults his imaginary friend Hitler, who suggests manipulating Elsa. Armed with a kitchen knife and a pot for protection, Jojo awkwardly negotiates with Elsa, demanding she leave. Elsa, unfazed, easily disarms him and declares she isn't going anywhere. Frustrated, Jojo resolves to outwit her, deciding to gather information about Jewish people for an exposé. Elsa sarcastically plays along, feeding him exaggerated stereotypes while subtly mocking his beliefs. At this point, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more gripping stories. Hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest content. We appreciate your support. As Jojo and Elsa interact, their relationship gradually evolves. Elsa shares glimpses of her life, including stories of her fiancé Nathan, who is fighting for the resistance. Despite his indoctrination, Jojo begins to see Elsa's humanity. Meanwhile, Rosie works tirelessly to maintain a sense of normalcy for her son. She burns anti-Nazi pamphlets in the fireplace and celebrates the Allied advances, though Jojo remains conflicted by her opposition to the regime. One evening, in a moment of maternal wisdom, Rosie dons her husband's jacket and uses soot to mimic his beard, pretending to scold Jojo in her late husband's voice. She urges him to appreciate her efforts and challenges him to be a better version of himself. They dance together, briefly escaping the grim realities of their world. Inspired, Jojo continues to engage Elsa, asking her to draw a map of where Jewish people live. Elsa, ever clever, sketches a picture of Jojo's head, humorously claiming, "That's where we live." The walls between them slowly crumble as Jojo starts questioning the Nazi propaganda he once blindly followed. Jojo devises a cruel plan to manipulate Elsa, writing a fake letter pretending to be her fiancé Nathan, breaking off their relationship. He reads the letter aloud to her, and though Elsa doesn't fully believe him, the harsh words deeply hurt her. She retreats to her hiding spot, visibly upset. Seeing Elsa's pain and humanity stirs Jojo's guilt, and he quickly pens another letter, this time claiming Nathan's love for her remains steadfast and that the previous message was a mistake. Elsa is touched by the second letter and thanks Jojo, even requesting more letters from Nathan in the future. Their growing connection leads to a playful game where they compete to name influential figures from their respective sides. Elsa wins decisively by mentioning Jesus, leaving Jojo momentarily stumped. On another day, Jojo and his mother Rosie take a walk along the riverbank. Rosie reminisces about how lively the area used to be, filled with dancing and romance. Jojo, still holding on to his indoctrinated ideals, dismisses her nostalgic reflections. Rosie shares her belief that children shouldn't be involved in politics, but should instead spend their days climbing trees and playing. She expresses her wish for everyone to dance as a symbol of freedom. But Jojo scoffs at her optimism and pedals away on his bike, with Rosie following behind. As they reach a nearby road, they encounter a truckload of weary soldiers returning home, their defeated expressions reflecting the collapsing state of the Nazi regime. Jojo returns home in low spirits, and Elsa attempts to cheer him up by sharing fantastical, humorous stories about her people. Slowly, Jojo begins to appreciate her company, though his imaginary friend Hitler chastises him later, warning him against letting his German brain be influenced by Elsa. While Jojo sleeps, Rosie and Elsa share a quiet moment together. Rosie tells Elsa how much she values her presence and how fulfilling it is to watch her grow into a young woman, something she couldn't experience with her late daughter. The bond between the two women deepens in this tender exchange. The next day, Jojo visits the Jungvolk headquarters, where he stumbles upon Klenzendorf and Finkel in a private moment of close conversation, their noses nearly touching, exuding an unspoken tension. Jojo announces his project on exposing Jewish people, but Klenzendorf and Finkel laugh it off, dismissing it as a childish endeavor. Shifting the subject, Klenzendorf enthusiastically shares sketches of elaborate, flamboyant uniform designs he's created for himself and Finkel. Afterward, he assigns Jojo a mundane task, collecting scrap materials for the war effort. Dressed in a makeshift robot costume, Jojo roams the streets gathering scrap. During his errand, he spots his mother handing out small anti-Nazi flyers, her defiance hidden behind her composed demeanor. He also crosses paths with his best friend, Yorkie, who proudly announces his acceptance as a soldier. When Jojo confides that he's captured a Jewish person, Yorkie reacts with a mix of surprise and nonchalance, reflecting the absurdity of the collapsing world around them. Jojo continues to struggle with his loyalties and beliefs while also forming an unlikely bond with Elsa. After receiving a troubling reminder of the Nazi regime's oppressive reality, Jojo is torn between his upbringing and the genuine connection he starts to feel for Elsa. He gifts her some colored pencils, symbolizing a small attempt at normalcy and friendship, but warns her about the danger their relationship poses in a world where such connections are forbidden. Elsa, however, challenges Jojo's perspective, suggesting that he isn't truly a Nazi since he hasn't hurt her and is just a confused, lonely boy seeking belonging. The tension rises when Elsa is forced to hide once again, as Gestapo officers, led by Hermann Dirz, show up at Jojo's house. The officers begin to question Jojo about his mother's absence and his uniform's missing knife. Elsa quickly improvises, pretending to be Jojo's sister and diverting suspicion away from her. A tense moment unfolds when Dirz demands Elsa's identification, which Klenzendorf helps her navigate by providing Inge's ID. Elsa, however, is hurt when she discovers Jojo's expose book, filled with hateful and violent depictions of Jewish people, including disturbing plans for Nathan's death. Despite this, Klenzendorf and Finkel let the family go, offering a small hint that Klenzendorf may have been secretly helping them all along. Following this narrow escape, Jojo grapples with guilt and anger, especially after learning of his mother's death. Blaming Elsa for Rosie's death, Jojo almost harms her in a moment of grief. Elsa, however, helps him process his emotions, sharing the truth about her past and the loss she's experienced. This deeper understanding brings them closer, and they begin to form a daily routine of scavenging for food and sharing time together, with Jojo continuing to write fake letters from Nathan to keep Elsa hopeful. As the war intensifies, Jojo encounters Yorkie, who has been sent out as a soldier despite his young age, and observes the desperation of the soldiers, including children being drafted into combat. Jojo remains paralyzed by fear, unable to fight, and takes refuge in an abandoned building as chaos ensues. Eventually, Jojo witnesses the fall of the Nazi regime as the Allied forces take control of the city. Jojo is mistaken for a Nazi soldier and captured by Soviet forces, but is spared when Klenzendorf, now a prisoner, sacrifices himself to protect Jojo. Back at home, Jojo's internal struggle continues. He tries to shield Elsa from the grim truth about the war's outcome by pretending Germany won the war. However, as the situation unfolds, Elsa admits Nathan's death and reveals how much she has come to rely on Jojo's letters. Jojo finally confesses his feelings for Elsa, acknowledging that she may not feel the same way. He decides to help her escape the city, overcoming his fears and standing up to the imagined Hitler in his mind. As Elsa prepares to leave, Jojo struggles with the guilt of lying, but encourages her to go. The two of them share a moment of freedom and celebration, dancing in the streets to mark the end of their journey and the uncertain future ahead.